This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that you know. Some rockstar dads who started a show. So here's the next episode.
I think on the last episode we did, I was talking about how you just roll with it and like don't let things get you down, right? But there's times that things get you down, right? And I think about this all the time, and it's actually one of the things that like makes me kind of nervous or fearful of actually having like a therapist and talking to a therapist, or sometimes even just friends, because it's like when all these little things happen and add up, and then you have that day where you're just like, fuck, I'm in a bad mood, and they're like, what happened? And you're like, well, you're just not going to get it if I tell you this, you know, because then it sounds like I'm complaining, and it's not. It's like all these things add up.
Yeah. You know, God, that's so true. I mean, it's to put it like super, you know, like really make the analogy as simple as it could possibly be. It's the fucking car thing, right? It's like the car does this thing until you take it to the mechanic, and then it doesn't do the thing, you know? And it's like, that's frustrating in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, he hold on. I'm fixing my mic. Leave this in. This is great. Great content here. This is great. Anyway, he didn't want to be there, but he snapped out of it real quick. And we had a great talk. And man, we covered a lot of shit. I have no recollection of what any of it was. But
well, I mean, that's what we do. We just start and we go. And you know, I maybe by the time we were halfway through, we were on like our second or third beer, so we loosened up a little.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys didn't get that episode. We could show you guys the video of it. You could see. You could watch us come into. Anyway, we reran for leg one of the tour. Leg one of the tour was amazing. I mean, I don't even know how you could say it any better than that. The bands were great. We were great. The fans were great. Venues were great. Everything was fucking great. But you know, in doing that, if you follow me on social media, you'll know that we did a few things different this time. You know, it's been an ever increasing thing over the last couple of years of us trying to, you know, become a little smarter on the road as far as like health things are concerned, and just as far as our overall health and things like that. And so, you know, I had gone into the tour trying to lose some weight, still am, and I'm eating a certain way. And we got on the tour and we had all made an agreement that we were going to go to me, you, Dave, and Rob are going to go to the gym every day. And we did a really, really good job of that. Like the couple of days that like I didn't go once, I'll explain that in a minute. We didn't go once because the venue didn't have a shower, and that's sort of important. But man, we did a really good job.
Yeah, there's a whole learning curve about changing your routine, right? Like you can go, okay, we're gonna do this, and like you kind of make a plan for it, and then once you start doing it, you're like, oh, well, it's different because of this, right?
Yeah.
For one example, like I just didn't plan well. I was like, okay, we're gonna go to the gym or whatever, but like I get super hot and sweaty whenever we play shows.
Yeah.
And so like that's like a whole change of clothes. Like I got to have a different shirt and shit because I get really hot and sweaty. And anyways, I just didn't pack well enough to be like, I'm going to get sweaty 2 times a day, even though like I thought about it. I thought we were going to go to the gym. Like, I don't know. It's a learning curve. I think I'm ready for the next leg.
But I'm sort of glad you did it that way, because you ended up doing your stuff in the pool, which I found to be, I sort of found my own groove in doing a combination of, you know, going into the gym part and then coming into the pool part. And so it worked out really good. And yeah, well, we all, you know, need to bring, like, we all need a little bag, you know, we need our little gym bag and I haven't thought about a fucking gym bag in a long time, especially ever on tour. You know, guys, this is a big deal. I mean, us going on I realize for a lot of you that listen to the show, you're like, yeah, so what? I go to the gym 6 times a day, you know. I haven't had a carb since 1992.
We've been doing this for 30 years now.
Yeah.
And while not exactly the same, like, you know, the routine just builds on how the band has built, right? Like we grew into whatever we were doing. So we'd never gone to the gym at all for anything during this time. So it's a big deal that we're making some changes.
Big deal. And so anyway, towards the end of the tour, I'll just preface this and just say that. So I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis when I was around 19, I believe. And so for those of you who don't know what that is, it's like a thing in your intestines, and it's you can Google it. It's pretty gross, but I have been in remission for a really long time, over 20 years, really. I mean, it's been a really long time, very few symptoms. And towards the end of the tour and up to present day, when we're recording this, I have had the biggest flare up. They call it a flare, which makes it sound kind of cool, but it's not, that I've ever had. And it turns out that all of this healthy eating I was doing, and I'm not blaming that, by the way. There's so many factors. It can be stress. It can be alcohol, which, you know, I sort of am like, I don't know that it's alcohol for me that triggers it, because I've been drinking this whole fucking time, like a lot, you know? And, but it things, but it's just, Casey has kind of started doing this research because this is new to her. I haven't had a flare up since I've known her.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't know how to help me. And part of her, you know, nurturing thing that she does is she wants to help. And so I've been eating a lot of that raw vegetables and fruits are bad. Well, I've been eating fruit, that's what I've been fucking eating, you know, and then I've been eating almonds. Well, raw nuts are bad, you know, and so she's got me this applesauce now and all this stuff. So it just is one of those things where it's sort of like I'm doing all of these things correctly to get healthy, and it's not doing my health in another area very good. And it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
It's very, very frustrating, because it's like, you know, all you hear your whole life. And even as things have changed during our lives, where, you know, we don't have the 4 food groups, like, you know, you're not supposed to eat 7 helpings of bread a day anymore. But, you know, you always just hear, you know, eat lots of fruits and vegetables. And then so I start eating lots of fruits and vegetables, and you're like, all the nutrients are in the raw fruits and vegetables. And then you start eating the raw fruits and vegetables. And now it's like, well, this might not be the reason that you're having a colitis flare, but it's certainly not helping. And I'm like, well, motherfucker, you know, like, what am I supposed to do? You know, I guess I just go back to fucking, you know, just eating fucking bean burritos and shit, you know, which I haven't had. I have not had Gary, I haven't had a goddamn bean burrito in so long. It is wild. Like, and I love them. I love these things. I love them so much.
That's got to be frustrating. It's like, hey, I'm going to address this problem. And by addressing one problem, you're creating another problem.
Yeah.
And then you got to like weigh the balance or figure out the solution or figure out what I don't know. That sucks.
It's a navigation. And, you know, and so you can't deal with this shit with your regular doctor. I can get my regular doctor on the phone. I fucking did this concierge thing, and I can text him, you know, like I can get him on the phone. He was in fucking Hong Kong. I made that up. I don't know where he was. He was somewhere over there.
Yeah, it was just his virtual background was Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And he called me from there, you know, while we were on the road, and he was like, hey, there's this new medicine that you're on. Let's stop this until you see your specialist. But you still have to see your specialist. Like, he can't prescribe me anything new. And so, you know, it's taken me weeks to be able to get into this. But this is a really big, this particular flare up has been really brutal, because I was supposed to go straight from the tour to Ireland for 2 weeks to be on a game show. And I can't say which one it is, but it's an American game show. They happen to film in Ireland. Probably not that hard to research to figure out what it was, but and I was excited about it. And I think it would have been really fun. And I think I'd have gotten some really cool shit for my social media. And like, plus I was just like, you know what, man, I'm be in fucking Ireland by myself. I've been working long days, but I love like just like chilling. Like when I used to go on those songwriting trips and shit, and I would just be like, hey, I'm just in my hotel room naked with a guitar, and now I'm gonna jerk off, and and then I'm on my own schedule, and I'm gonna only watch,
I don't know if they have murder TV in Ireland.
They have to, right?
I don't know. I mean, you can just take a Roku stick or something and watch whatever you want.
Well, I know they have it in the UK because there's a show called oh shit. Oh fuck, I can't remember what it is, but I watched all of them. It's like My Lover Killed Me or some shit. That's not it. That's a terrible title for it. So. Yeah, that's definitely not it. But anyway, it was all
that's like the fourth sequel of I Know What You Did Last Summer or something, right?
Yeah. Well, it was funny because it's not funny, but it's all a bunch of young couples that murdered each other or murdered, and it's all in the UK and it's all places that we play. And I texted Daniel Cotton and I go, dude, this is so weird because I'm seeing all these kids get murdered, and they're statistically, it's very there's a very good chance that a percentage of these people came to our show at some point. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a very, very good statistic. And he just texts back. He goes, your head just gets bigger and bigger all the time. And I'm like, I'm fucking right. And he goes, I'm fucking with you. Yeah, there's a really good chance that they came to see you go down. And I'm just like, yeah. And then their fucking lover murdered him, But yeah, they do have it over there. But the thing is that this has been really brutal. And the one thing that it has done is I have not done shit. Well, actually, I've literally only shit.
Only shat.
Yeah. Since I got home on Sunday, and like I have my computer at the kitchen table, and so like I'll pay the crew, and then I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'll go sit in the toilet for an hour, and then maybe I'll watch Breaking Bad, and then go sit on the toilet for an hour, and then and so it has forced me to take a little break, and so I do, like, mentally I feel great. And physically, I feel great. Like I came off Casey came and saw us on the tour, right? And was like, you guys usually look like shit by now, and you all look great. Because we were waking up at a reasonable hour, and we were going to the gym, and we were eating somewhat healthy meal. And at night, I wasn't pounding the pizzas. I was like, I would eat one piece of pizza and then make like a turkey wrap, and just trying to be smart.
You're saying that you're watching Breaking Bad and then having to go to the toilet and all this. And when you're saying this, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm wondering if you're like, I'm gonna just have a TV installed on the wall across from my toilet. But then I'm like, you know what? There's no reason to do that because it's 2024. We all just have iPads. I wonder how much that's destroyed the we're gonna hang a TV in the kitchen or we're gonna hang a TV here because you just take it with you from room to room now. Well,
I've been thinking about that. Yeah. So the other night we watched something on our we watched both of the first two Deadpools.
Okay.
Because we're gonna go see the third one at some point. And I was like, man, I have surround sound in this room. I don't even use it. It's not even hooked up. I don't even have a fucking tuner anymore to drive any of that shit. I just have the Sonos soundbar. And it sounds amazing. And it's like there's shit happening behind you and stuff. And it's so crazy how like that, or like how remember they used to put TVs in the mirror. You know what I'm talking about? Like in the bathroom. And so but that business has to have gone to shit because, and then, or the other one, my kids used to have DVD players in the back of our headrests.
Yeah. In the car.
Yeah. There's no fucking reason for any of that shit anymore.
I think between like I was saying, you just, I put TV on my iPad or whatever, put, Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever it is. And you take it from room to room. Between that and also if you're putting on makeup or if you're getting ready or if you're doing dishes, I'm listening to a podcast now, I'm not even watching TV. So there's no need for the TV behind the mirror. my brain's not watching something, right? But I have the attention to listen to something.
Casey has her phone on a show all the time when she's doing anything in the world, and she has that, and a lot of it she's rewatching, so she doesn't have to have the thing where she like actually pays attention. But she doesn't really pay attention to shit anyway, you know. Like when we're watching television, she's on her phone the whole time.
Yeah,
which is fine. But kids, we did a thing where Jack and Everett both got TVs for Christmas one year, like nice fucking big TVs in their rooms. And Jack's has only been turned on whenever I had COVID. So because I was in his room.
Yeah.
And I watched the entire I watched the entire series, like 14 seasons of American Monster. And which is a great show, guys, by the way. If you don't know this show, it starts out everything's very happy, and they show you home movies of these families, and it's all never before seen home movies of this family who's so happy. And the narrator even says things like, John is so happy to be receiving this Christmas gift from his lovely blah blah dong da ding dong. And then shit goes bad, and man, it goes bad, right? And then they start interviewing the family, and they're like, oh my God, if only John would have known that this was going to happen. And then all of a sudden his fucking wife slits his throat with the thing that she got him for Christmas.
Shit.
And it's a fucking great show.
Damn, is this when you started getting hooked on the murder stuff?
Oh hell no! I've been hooked on murder stuff since I was a kid. I did my term theme on the Manson family.
I knew that
in college. Yeah,
I knew that.
Yeah, I was real big into that shit. Like, I was like, I thought I was being like super controversial and shit. Like I had Charles Manson's album. You know, when I was a little kid, or not a little kid, like in high school.
That'd be creepy if it was when you were a little kid.
It would be creepy if I was a little kid because, you know, yeah. Anyway, I was scared shitless of that kind of thing when I was a kid. But then, you know what got me ready for serial killers? Ozzy. No, I'm just kidding. Like it played out just like they wanted it to.
Yeah.
Like this Ozzy is fucking terrifying. He gets kids into murder.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I hear Crazy Train and I'm like, okay, David Berkowitz, let's fucking get down to business.
That's right.
You know? Oh man. But yeah. So anyway, I'm feeling fine. That's the thing that's frustrating is my friends keep going, I hope you feel better, you know, and like you even like, I hope you feel better. You know, it's like, I feel fine. You know, that's the frustrating thing. It's like, I probably feel better physically than I have in years. And this is so fucking frustrating because it's like it's like when I have to go. And it's like this week is Casey's birthday and we ended up getting to go out the other night and I did really good actually. But boy, when I got home, it was a photo finish, Gary.
Oh,
I mean, I'll tell you, I didn't even make it to the bidet bathroom. I made it to the guest bathroom.
The completely different situation from you, but I mean, I know the idea of like the symptoms are bad, but you feel fine. So even on this last run, I had a day where like my allergies were just kicking my ass. I mean, everyone's like, "Are you okay?" It looked like I was crying. You know, I'm sneezing every 3 seconds. My nose is stopped up, and like I could even see Edo looking at me like, are you getting sick? You know, like you got the COVID, you getting sick? And I'm like, I think it's just allergies. I feel fine. I feel perfect.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, my eyes are itchy and running and it's driving me nuts. But like, I feel fine. I don't have a fever. I don't have aches. I've got energy. Everything's fine. Yeah. But I've got all these symptoms. And then my pal Rob found me an allergy pill in the bus. And like an hour later, I was not 100%, but like, I was like, see, it's allergies because I feel better now.
Yeah. It's so nice when bands just leave shit floating around like that for us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there was just some kind of allergy pill on the bus box, you know. But I knew it was there, so I was tearing it apart looking for it. That's nice when there's stuff just there on the bus, but it's frustrating whenever you know it's there, but like for some reason people move stuff around on the bus. Like who organizes? You know, we're just going to move this from here to here. Why?
You know what I just realized? That fucking Riel brought in all that flaming hot beef jerky, and I ate a whole pack of that.
Uh-oh.
And that did give me a day of, some stuff. And that I'm not blaming it on that. But again, I think I created the perfect storm, and now I'm not in remission anymore. And I got to get back in this remission, Gary. Son of a bitch, man. I got to do it. I got to figure it out.
I got to ask you if you think there's a part of the spicy beef jerky causing it. Didn't we just buy like $900 of beef jerky for the bus?
Yeah, but it's not all spicy. And I had some lemon pepper the other day, and it's fine. Right. I had to test it out. But hey, we have to take a break. Later on in the program, Anthony from the band BAYSIDE is going to be with us with and he's got a new project coming up that I'm going to be excited about, but I can't tell you what it is because we're going to talk to him about it. And we're going to talk about less poop stuff when we come back on the Rockstar Dad Show. Y'all listen to this. Welcome back to the Rockstar Dad Show. And I've decided, Anthony, our guest is Anthony from, of course, you guys know him from the band BAYSIDE, but I've decided not to punish you by destroying your last name. Because I would have said Ranieri.
That's great.
Really?
Yeah, Ranieri. Yeah.
God, Ranieri. I'm so bad at last names.
I was going to say, give Jaret some time. He'll say it 6 different ways in the next few minutes.
We have had guests on here with complicated last names, and I will say it right and then just continually throughout the show say it incorrectly. And it seems like I'm doing a bit, but I'm not. So I'm just going to call you.
My wife's maiden name is Giovanni, not Giovanni, but Giovanni. And when our daughter was born, she was like, maybe we should use both of our names. My youngest daughter is Luciana. I was like, you want her name to be Luciana Giovanni Ranieri?
Oh man!
And I was like, we can't sign her. I feel like I need to. This is my first act of protecting her. Avoiding like a 15-syllable name.
It's so important. You got to play the name game, and my last name is Reddick. And if you hyphenate it, it's Red Dick. And so I couldn't name my daughter Avery because her name would be a very red dick. Right. And guys, listen to this. This is way off, but I have to tell you this. This happened to me yesterday, by the way, last name thing. My son is going to college. My oldest son, Jack, is starting university in the fall. And he is, I got him a credit card, do the thing where he's a signer on my credit. So he gets it. So it builds his credit, but I get the bill, right? And it would not let me enter his last name in either the app or online. It kept saying last name not allowed. Like it thought I was being an asshole and trying some shenanigans. And I had to literally call and do it on the phone, which you don't have to do anymore. All right, Anthony, BAYSIDE.
That's crazy. Well, you must get called Jared more than you get called Jared too.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Jared, Janet, Gerald.
We have friends that we've known for 25 years that still call you Jared.
Yeah. It's wild. Yeah. Friends that we've known for 25 years that spell my name when they write it correctly and still call me Jared. But listen, BAYSIDE, we are huge fans. We
thank you.
When we did Warped Tour together, we made it a point to come and watch you guys as much as we possibly could.
Cool. Thank you.
In fact, my wife and I have an ongoing BAYSIDE comment thing that we do where I'll say, I need a haircut. And she'll go, my wife's my hairstylist. And she'll go, don't fucking let the BAYSIDE guy cut your hair. I'm going to cut your hair. Because you guys had a little barber shop in front of your bus one year, right?
We did. It was it was like years of the years we did Warped Tour, we would always look at guys like NoFX and Bad Religion and Boss Tones and bands like that, and they all had these hustles, it was this mafia thing that they had going, and you would go see this guy if you needed iced coffee, and if you needed weed, you'd go see this guy, and they all had these hustles, and we always thought that was really cool. So yeah, Chris, our drummer, is a bar. He doesn't work as a barber, but he knows how to barber. So he was cutting hair. And Jack, our guitar player, was like was selling cigarettes. He would like buy cigarettes at truck stops, like cartons of cigarettes, and he'd be selling cigarettes. Everybody had like a little hustle.
Yeah,
that's great. We would just hang out by our bus and drink and cook food.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that was sort of our hustle. Was we gave everybody free food so that they would come hang out with us.
Yeah, that's great though. Like the community needs food. The community needs haircuts. The community needs cigarettes. Like it's all community.
We got in so much trouble. I wouldn't say so much trouble, but we got in trouble our first year for selling earplugs. And, and we were making a fucking fortune on these things.
I bet.
You can buy those for nothing at Home Depot. You know, like a box of 500 of them for $10. And you know, we were selling them for $2-3 a pack. And we were cleaning up.
Probably. Well, do they sell them? Was that the problem? Okay, that's the problem.
They have like the little girls walking around with the signs. You know, the cardboard sign where it looks like they don't belong there, but they do. You know.
Yeah, there was one year that we had like a bar. You know, we were like after the shows, we were like selling booze. You know, like we had a whole bar set up, and we were like selling booze to the bands in the parking lot afterwards. And like I said, we sold cigarettes. You could sell drugs. You could sell whatever, but like don't fuck with water and like don't try to sell water. You know what I mean? You want to sell drugs, go ahead, but like don't be selling water.
Yeah, you try to sell water, they'll fucking cut you off, and all of a sudden you're dry, you know. And but yeah, they have their things, and you don't trample on their stuff. Well, dude, I mean, you guys have been going strong for almost 25 years now.
Yeah, it'll be 25 years next year. Yeah,
it's crazy. Is there plans for celebration for that? You guys?
Yeah, we're gonna do some stuff. We announced a UK leg already. Where we're calling it. We're trying to do sort of this career, this career long set thing. So we're doing like 2 sets on the UK tour, and the first set will be songs from like the first half of the career, and then the second set will be songs from the second half of the career.
Very cool.
We're going to do a similar thing here in the US. It'll be spread out even more. We're going to do even more shows like with that kind of thing. We've never done the full record thing. It's not really something that we do. We're doing it when we were young, and then since we had to learn the whole friggin' record anyway, we added like a show at Pappy and Harriet's to do the full record. But we've never really done the full record thing. So we're kind of splitting it into eras, and we're calling it the Errors Tour.
Yeah, we saw that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny. Part of the reason that we announced the US tour isn't ready to be announced yet. We announced the UK tour like 8 months in advance, just to put our flag in the name, because we were like, somebody's gonna fucking think of this, and we need to get this on the books.
Well, and then 1 week after you announced it, Dave Grohl fucking said it on stage, and it became this viral thing.
I know, unbelievable.
It was unbelievable timing. Crazy. But man, my advice to you, and this is the thing, and I think Gary will agree with me. We did the thing for our 30th birthday where we did a song from every album. We have a shitload of albums. Mm-hmm. We did a song or 2 from every single album. We did the retrospective, and it was a magical fucking show. It was magical. We're doing the album thing now, and it's great. It's awesome. Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Fans are loving it. But
it's a really long album, isn't it?
It's fucking 18 songs.
Yeah.
And so
it's a beating.
We're playing 1 hour and 45 minutes every night, and that's just the record, and then 2 to 3 other songs.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, and the fans love it. But man, if you can get away with touring on the retrospective, do it, because what's cool about that is you could change it up too. Like you could go, oh, okay, so from this era tonight we're gonna do this song, and then tomorrow we're gonna do this song. You know?
Jared's right though. We just did this 30th birthday party. What he's saying we did, and like it's a big thing. People flew in, and you know, big fans flew in, and people that have seen us dozens and dozens of times were like, "That's our favorite show you've ever done."
Really, that's great. Yeah. So did that So were you able to get into deep cuts that you don't normally play? Because I kind of
Oh
feel
yeah,
like that's the feel of it, right? Like if
yeah.
we are going to do a set of only the first half of our career, hypothetically, then we could, we could just play more songs from
Yeah.
those records. We have 9 records, so it's like 4 records in the first set and 5 records in the second set.
Yeah, that was and what I did was I sort of did like a story about each one, or I talked about the record, and but that's gonna be dope, man. I'm stoked for you, and
I saw
yeah.
a clip of you. I saw a clip of you the other day in my feed where at one of the album anniversary shows where you were giving a disclaimer to the audience that
Yeah.
you're going to get to a certain. And I don't know. It's probably a speech you give every night, but I don't know where it was that I saw the video that I saw was from. But
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny, the disclaimer that like we're going to get to a certain point in this album and you're going to be like, okay.
Yeah, because there's 4 singles on this record, and then and like all the
3 of them are in the first 4 songs.
Yeah, because of the iTunes. So I stopped doing that bit because people, everybody that got it, and I was just doing a bit. I was trying to make it funny and make it to where like all of the heavy stuff was at the front because of iTunes and all this shit.
Sure.
But I had so many people going, "Hey, I don't like you talking, but this is like the album that saved my life, or this, I like all the, and this, that's, I don't like." And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to quit. And then even my guitar tech was like, "Hey, you're really talking a lot of shit about the songs that people really love and stuff." And I'm just like, okay, I was just fucking around.
Sure.
But anyway, I stopped doing that bit. Well, hey, so let's talk about fatherhood before we get too far into this, because I don't want to go. So we already know, Giovanna, is that what you said?
Luciana.
Luciana.
Luciana is 7 months old tomorrow.
Wow. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you. And then Georgia is going to be 11 years old in October. So I
always loved the name Georgia. I had an Aunt Georgia growing up, and I had a friend named Georgia, and obviously, there's the song and everything. I've always loved that name. Cool. Is that an Italian name?
I don't think so. There was a show that I really loved called Dead Like Me that had 2 seasons and was canceled 20 years ago. And the main character in the show's name was Georgia, and everybody called her George, and I always thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, that's super cool. Yeah.
So I call her George. So we have George and Lou. Those are my daughters.
It's awesome. And now, so let's talk about, becoming a dad the first time, 8 years ago. Let's do the math
11.
here. So that's
11 years.
11. I'm so sorry. 11 years ago. Oh, wow. So far apart. Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy. So 11 years ago. And, so, let's think about that. You're in what, like, the mid 2000s. And are you guys touring a lot at the time?
Yeah, I mean, it was starting to slow down. I mean, we started the band in 2000. We started we got signed, put out our first record in 2004. Started living off the band in by 2007 is when we started kind of really moving out of our parents' house and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then, but we were touring 10 months a year to be able to afford that. We were in that, the stages of making money as a band, right? So we were in that stage where we could support ourselves from the band, but we had to work and work and work to be able to do that. So she was born in 2013. And that was when we were getting to a point where we could tour about 6 months out of the year and kind of make money. And now Luciana has it great because we tour 3 months out of the year, combined, never more than 4 weeks straight. I'm around all the fucking time now. I coach softball. I'm on the PTA. I'm on the HOA. It's I have so much time now.
At that point, whenever you were having your first kid and you're gone, like you said, 6 months out of the year, how are y'all breaking that up? Where you're like, hey, let's knock it out in big chunks, one at a time?
Yeah. We're still big chunks fans. We sometimes we experiment with legs, where we do the 2 weeks on, month off, or 3 weeks on, month off kind of thing. I don't care that it costs more to do that way, but it's the feeling of like I'm always about to leave. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I always. So as much as the being gone for like 5 weeks straight sucks, you know, to just kind of knock it all out at once. I do like the feeling of coming home, being like, I got 6 months off, man. Like I'm so
Yeah.
home now, you know.
The,
So
the
it's a double-edged sword. I'm sure you guys feel the same way.
Yeah,
Probably
the
got
bi-
both
the
ways.
Sympathize
the
with
bits
that,
and pieces, you're just always adjusting, right? It takes a few days to get to adjust to being gone, and then you get used to it, and then you go home, and it takes a while to get adjusted to being home.
Yep. And the two different people that like you are when you're like a parent, but also like a touring person, a band member is like, that's something I struggle with really bad, like on a mental health way, like having to be those two different people is really hard for me to settle into like both of those places.
Yeah.
To the point where when I'm on tour, like I spend like the last tour, I hardly left the bus. I hardly leave like the dressing room. I don't interact with fans a lot. Because it reminds me of this person that I'm expected to be. You know what I mean? Like it's much easier for me to get on stage for an hour and a half or whatever and do my thing and then get back off stage and stay in dad mode. It's really hard for me to get into like a lead singer mode. You
Mhm.
know what I mean?
Right.
I really struggle with it a lot.
So you're saying you try and just stay in dad mode the whole time, FaceTime.
I try to avoid anything that reminds me
Mhm.
that I'm like the lead singer of a popular band.
Interesting.
Like because
Yeah.
that fucks me up. I
Yeah.
have a really hard time with it. So I
Yeah.
try to avoid anything that reminds me of that.
Yeah, I totally get that. And really struck me when you said you always feel like you have to leave, because that is, I mean, I bowling, we do the leg thing. We kind of always have since I had kids.
Mhm.
And really since, Gary started having kids as well, it's definitely like, backed up into this thing of like, now we're pushing it to 2.5 weeks. But I mean, that's it. We got to get home, be with our kids and shit.
And then how long do you take off in between them?
So that's just it. I mean, Bowling for Soup will have like a month, 6 weeks, whatever, but I have another thing that I do. And so like, I start playing usually right when we get back home. And so I do always have that feeling of like, I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done. I'm about to leave town or whatever. And it is something that I've really just now, like, started to address, in the whole mental health aspect of things, where I'm just like, hey, Jaret, you're not leaving, you're going for 2 days and then you're going to be home, and, like everything can wait. But I totally see how that, how that is, if you've always done it that way, cause it's like our buddy Simple Plan, Sum 41, like all those bands, they're all dads,
Mhm.
and they'll fucking leave for 4 months. And it's like, how the fuck can
Yeah,
you do
gnarly.
that? And those bands can afford to bring their families out if they want to. And,
Sure.
but anyway, I could sort of see how, either one is such an adjustment. You just sort of have to make that decision and see what works for you. Do the other guys in your band have kids at all?
Jack, our guitar player, has 2 kids as well. Both of us we each have 2 kids, and that's it. Chris and Nick don't have kids. Yeah, like I just it's hard for me to like, I struggle with fans thinking they know me, or even like, I guess it's a really unhealthy coping mechanism that I've developed to deal with anything negative, which is like, somewhere along the way I said, when I read bad shit about our band, if somebody doesn't like our band, if we have a bad show or bad review or whatever it is, like, obviously you say, well, that, what do they know? Everybody has their own opinion. Like, that guy doesn't know anything. And then this unhealthy coping mechanism that I developed was to truly believe that when people said that what I do is awesome, I have to be like, well, you don't, what the hell do you know? You know what I mean? Like that. And it's so unhealthy where I'm like, these, like, they don't know who I am really. You know what I mean? And it's like this, matrix world that like being
Yeah.
on tour and, you know, doing meet and greets and stuff. Like we used to do a lot of meet and greets and we've slowed them down a lot because it's really something that I struggle with. It's like, you don't know, you know, I appreciate everything that, like, all the support of my band, and I appreciate all the kind words, but like, you don't like know me.
Yeah, there's
you think you like me, but maybe you don't. You don't even know who I am.
Definitely different ways that we all sort of do that. I chose to in the actual like opposite of that, to literally just regurgitate my life into the world and just go fuck it. Like, you know what? You fucking think you know me, you're gonna know me. And now it's like all of my shit is out, you know, all my mental health stuff, my fucking weight stuff, like anything that I'm dealing with, fuck it. You're gonna hear it. And
that's great.
It's become therapeutic for me in that way. But also I've seen it kind of go both ways in that, you know, there are obviously more reserved people in my band. And then there's like Chris, who used to really, really be out there and now sort of doesn't want to be anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just feel like that's okay. That's your balance, and it's fully in your control, and your fans have to be able to respect that.
Yeah, like, I think that it probably makes me come off standoffish, you know, like, it probably makes me come off like I think I'm too good, or I don't like the fans or something like that. You know, like, if a fan stops me for a picture, to talk, to whatever, I will give them like what they're asking for. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I'll never turn away anybody. But I just try to, like, you know, a lot of times it's healthier for me to avoid those situations because, like, I'm shy, you know what I mean? And I think it probably makes me come off like I said, standoffish, or maybe even arrogant, you know, or whatever. But what it really is that I'm shy. I'm not a very social person, you know. I don't go in my home life. I don't like, me and my buddies, we get together and we play board games at like somebody's house, you know, and none of us, like, we don't drink, we don't I'm just not like a very social person, you know what I mean? So meeting 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, a day is really difficult for me, you know?
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it's
because I want to be who they want me to be. So I have to turn it on. I feel it's my responsibility that when they do approach me, that I need to now be this charming, charismatic person. Like, I'm that person on stage, right? I'm charismatic and I'm charming on stage, but like, I'm playing, like, I'm an entertainer, you know what I mean? I'm doing a bit. It's all a bit, you know what I mean? Like, doing the bit 100 times a day is really difficult.
It's easier whenever they're just simple interactions, though. When someone's, hey, I love your band, can we take a photo?
Sure.
Will you sign this for me? That's easy. And you can have 10 of those in a row, and then you get the one person that, like, just asks something really awkward or weird or personal or stepping over some kind of boundary, and that like one weird interaction can negate the 10 previous easy.
Well, the awkward, or this even line stepping or personal or whatever, I can handle that better than this lyric really is helping me right now because this is what I'm going through in my life. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm expected to say something like really poignant right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm expected, like, I'm somebody that maybe you look at for profound words. You know what I mean? Like, you think of some of my lyrics as maybe being profound or being great advice or being cathartic, and you want me to say something really cathartic or profound right now, and that's a lot of, and I'm gonna let you down, and then I feel like a fucking piece of shit, you know? Like,
so it was a struggle for me because we're a funny band. We have our serious stuff, and there is that even in some of the funny songs, there's depth to them. You just got to dig it out, you know, and some people do and some people don't. And that's what I love about our fans is we have both. We have the people that are there because we're their good time party poison. We're poison, basically, you know, from the 80s. And then we have the people who come up and they're like, you know, this song changed my life. And it took me a while to be able to even just grasp it, you know, but I think I just started to put it all into the perspective of my own shit, and like, and to think of like, man, what would I have said to Nikki Sixx if I would have met him, you know, in 1987, you know, and those kind of things, to where it's like, you know, I I just say thank you, you know, and I'm glad you're here, you know, and those kind of things. But I also have a superpower, and I think Gary can attest to this. I have a switch, and it's, I don't think everybody fucking has it, and it's not fake. It's not anything. It's just that like I am a people person when I need and want to be a people person. And then when I don't, I'm not, you know? So, but again, I think that that's me and you're you. And I still think that's okay. I really respect the fact that you know what you need your boundaries to be. And
I'm learning it. Yeah.
I think it's really, really admirable. I really do. I think, because I think it makes you happy, and it probably makes your home life happier, you know, because you come back less stressed, you know, and
yeah,
this and stuff, you know, that's important.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to, like, you know, it's hard to go from being on tour and having like a bunch of people who kind of do things for you and help you do things. There's not a lot expected of you, you know. It's like, hey man, you know, get a lot of sleep, you know, because we need you to sound good tomorrow, you know, you know, get a lot of rest. Are you comfortable? You know, do you need this? Like, what do you want what do you want to snack on tomorrow? You know, I'll make sure it's there, you know, shit like that. And then you come home and your wife's like, well, it's trash day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Take this kid.
Get on it.
Yeah, totally. We call that reentry. And
Yeah.
I think it's probably, it sounds like you're trying to level those things out. You know, that's something that I've dealt with my wife in therapy. We go to therapy because it's good for us, and we consider it a tune up, and it's made us very, very happy, and we communicate so well because of it. But one of the things that I found that was really stressing her out was my reentry, and that like I come home and I'm quiet and I'm a little irritable and I'm tired and I'm sort of like my patterns are different and all of that. And she's had this house on lockdown the whole 3 weeks I've been gone, you know, and like they're in their patterns, and I'm actually coming in and during my reentry disrupting that, you know. And I started thinking, fuck, you know, she's right. You know, I'm coming in and being like, hey, I want a fucking tub of Ben and Jerry's today. And she's like, well, you know what? We've been eating good here around here. I think, you know, and it's just little things like that, right?
Because we could never have normal lives, like bands like ours, like yours, that have been together for this long. We've been doing this for this long. Like the Arrested Development is set in, it's permanent. Like I could never think and expect things like a normal person. Like I am too accustomed to doing like what I want when I want. That's, you know what I mean? It's
100%.
not going away. It's not going
away.
No,
you're so right. Like I have a thing. I'm super snobby about a few things in life. First of all, car services, hotels. Like, because I slept on floors. I did my time. You know what I mean? Like I fucking did my time. I deserve a nice hotel room, right? And so I'm bougie about those two things. And the other thing is, like you said, man, I haven't really been told what to do in fucking 20 years. Like you just, and so you, like you said, I imagine you're a fucking pit bull on the HOA actually, because you're not, it's serious though, but because I mean, like my wife will say all the time, yeah, your dad doesn't like to be told what to do. Listen, I follow rules. I like rules. Actually, I think rules are great because I think but I think we should all follow them. You know, if they're all going to be, when you see somebody fucking bring a bottle of vodka back from Mexico and the security people let them through, but then they just took 3 other people's waters from them or whatever, you're like, what the fuck? Like, why can't we all just follow the fucking rules? So I don't like to.
I agree. I'm a rule follower too. I think, you know, another thing about, like you said, the reentry, I think is a good way to put it. Like that's another thing with like, I try to like avoid letting myself get puffed up too much on tour, because then that's hard to come home and get fucking deflated too. You know what I mean? It's like, that's another part of like it's like avoiding, adoration in some way, you know what I mean? Because then you're like, oh, like I've got a tween daughter, you know what I mean? I haven't been hugged in fucking years, you know what I mean? Like,
it comes back, dude. It does. I promise. Me and my 21-year-old are like, dude, she hugs me all the time now. She likes to hang out and stuff.
Oh, I get the thing. You know the thing where it's just hands. I come in for the hug and it's just hands at the side, and like I just like a lean in, like, sure, I'll let you hug me.
Yeah, that's that it lasts for a while, but you'll be okay. Hey, listen, we've taken a bunch of your time, and I do want to get into talking about your new project that you have coming up. If you want to let us in on the details, what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm doing it's my third solo record. It's the first time I've really poured a lot into it. It's the first two records were something I had songs laying around that like I wasn't going to do anything with. They didn't fit into the Bayside world, and I was like, oh, this will be fun. I do a little project, you know, go in the studio for a couple of days and do an EP, and sometimes do a few shows around them and stuff. And this is the first time I was like, I really want to do a solo thing, like the way we do Bayside things. Like I really want to like take it real seriously. And it's a blast. Records called Everyday Royalty. And it's seven songs. And I didn't have any songs going into deciding to do the record. So it's the opposite of past records where I had these songs sitting around and decided to put them on a record. I was like, I'm going to do a solo record. I want to write a record. And the process, I live in Nashville. I've been in Nashville for about 10, 11 years now. And the process was like calling buddies in town who are writers, like that I really like look up to, and producers I really look up to, getting in a room with nothing and walking out with a song. And sort of no rules on genre, no rules on what the song needed to be about, you know. I don't know if you guys work this way, but with Bayside, this may sound like a bad thing, but it's a really great thing for us, where we've created boundaries for what a Bayside song is, you know. And I think it's awesome. It's a really awesome challenge, because I sit down by a song that I think is great and say like, yeah, but it's not a Bayside song though, you know, it's not going to work. Like we like our stuff to be certain things, you know. And so this was like an opposite project. Bayside never co-writes anything either. You know, it's always the four of us. We've never had co-writers on any songs. So this was the opposite in that way too, where I was like, I could just look at a writer that I love, call him up, get in the room, and like see what he got. You know, like there's a guy, Sam Tenez, that I'm very close friends with, and he's a great writer. He writes a lot of like big stink stuff, like a lot of the kind of stuff that would wind up on sports, like real anthemic, like take over the world kind of stuff.
Sure.
And our kids go to school together. We're real tight buds, and me and him co-wrote like 3 of the songs together on the record. So I wrote it like this verse that's super me. It's like dark and minor and sad, and I didn't have a chorus. We got in a room. He came up with this really cool chorus that is like so him. It's really anthemic and less words. I always write really wordy shit, you know. Like his is like less. So it was really cool to like put my head together with other writers, because I have my go-tos, you know. I have the shit that I do. Like I know who I am as a writer, and it was cool. It's like, cool, I have this song now with this like anthemic, not super wordy, really uplifting sort of chorus. And I never would have wrote that, because I don't write shit like that, you know. So it was fun. It was fun in that way. And then as far as getting people to play on it, some of the drums are programmed. Sometimes we would program drums, and I'd be like, it doesn't feel right. Let's bring a drummer in. So we bring a drummer in, and it's like, you know, I could hear a pedal steel on this song. Let's bring pedal steel guy in. And it was like kind of whatever. It was like a little Willy Wonka's sort of like candy factory of like, let's do this. Let's do this. Like we could do anything. Fun.
I love shit like that, man. I love it. You know, those are, and yeah, I mean, I totally, it's gotta be a nice little refreshing sort of just, just being able to get out whatever is in there, and just no rules, and I love the no rules approach.
It's a really cool reset, from the band. The band, like, has been together for a long time. We've been doing things a certain way for a long time. So it was a cool reset to like do what I love to do, which is make music and put out records and go on tour and play in front of people. I love to do that. It was a cool way of doing what I love in a way that felt like I had never done it before. It was like fresh. It reminded me of starting the band and figuring it out, so that was cool. And it's, it's so funny because as far as all the other shit that goes into being a band and making a record, putting a record out and stuff, it like the album cover and the music video and everything creative that goes into it. On the one hand, it's like, this is cool. Like, I don't have like, it was like whatever I want. Like, whatever I say goes, right? There's no democracy. There's no other opinions. There's no kind of like, okay, like with the band, it's like I come up with an idea and then one of the other guys would be like, I like these parts of your idea, but what if we did this? And it's like, cool, let's like try to figure out how to make everybody happy. How do we kind of come up with the best version of everybody's vision? Which is great, but it's a hard process. It's a hard process, you know what I mean? Sure. It's hard to kind of get everybody there. With this, on the one hand, it's awesome to be like, yeah, whatever I want. And then I find myself like, I'll do a song, I'll get a mix back. And then with the band, you get a mix back and you're like, this person wants this, and this person wants this, and this person thinks this. And you're like, your head's spinning, trying to figure out, how do we make everybody happy? How do we get it? How can we get the best of everybody's wants? And then with this, I get a mix and I'm like, cool, it sounds good. And now I'm like, but does it though? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I really wish there was 3 other people that I could bounce this fucking stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm sending it to my mom, and I'm fucking sending it to like, I'm sending it to like my manager who manages both the band and me. And she's like, yeah, it sounds good. I'm like, but does it? Like, I need you to be real here. You're like, don't placate me. Cause Nick wouldn't placate me. Like Jack wouldn't placate me. I need like, I need somebody who's going to like tell me, give me a real opinion on this. So It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
Yeah. It's definitely, I went through that with my country record, and then, but now I have a band. And so it is a lot nicer to have the people to bounce things off of. That's for sure, man. Well, when is this?
And they're going to shoot the guys that you have playing in that band?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They, everybody shoots straight, and they all have their own agenda now too, so like that, the guitar player is a guitar player's guitar player. Like, he wants his stuff where it belongs in the mix. And I'm happy with that. I think that that's good. And, well, when is this is coming out soon, right?
It's coming out, November. I should know this. I need an adult in the room at all times.
Same. Yeah, I have no idea.
It's coming out November 8th.
Awesome.
I think. November 8th sounds about right.
And then and BAYSIDE.
It's cool. It's like it's a bunch of different styles of music. It's like kind of just wrote whatever I wanted to write, and just wanted to write songs for people who think, oh, see, my publicist is in the chat. Just said November 8th. Like I said, there's got to be an adult in the room at all times for me.
And then, but also, BAYSIDE dates are on sale now for the UK, US dates announcing soon. And
there'll be US dates soon.
Busy year for you, man.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a busier year than usual, because BAYSIDE does like one real tour a year. We do like one full US tour, and then the rest of the year we might go to the UK for like a week. We'll do festivals, we'll do fly dates, we'll do weekends, we'll do stuff like that. But we do one tour a year. And this year, because of the solo thing, I'm going to do like we did a full BAYSIDE tour already. Plus I'm going to do a full US solo tour. And then next year, because of the Bayside anniversary, we'll be doing more Bayside shows than we normally do. So it's gonna be busy couple of years. Yeah,
we know that game. We're
but I'm psyched.
right now.
The way I tour solo is just me, like really just me. Like there's not a backing band. It's like I really like kind of the singer-songwriter, storyteller sort of vibe for those shows. So it's just me, and I don't even bring any crew with me. So I'm settling shows, and I'm driving, and I think this is gonna. I in the past I've sold my own merch too, but I think this will be the first year that I bring on like local sellers to do the merch for me. But yeah, it's fucking just me, man. It's just me in a van, and it's cool. I do whatever I want whenever I want. Like, not that I really don't. Not that I'm not always doing that, but
well, that begs the question though. How does that though? When you're the and so now there's no barrier between you and the audience. So then getting back to sort of the way that you are on the road or whatever, sort of like liking to keep to yourself and stuff like that. That's kind of out the window on these solo things, right? I mean,
so in a way, I mean, I think that's a big reason that I'm not going to be doing the merch myself. I will certainly be around, more than I am at Bayside shows. I think maybe it feels more manageable to me because it's smaller. You know what I mean? Maybe it feels more. Those environments feel more manageable to me to play in 300-400 capacity places as opposed to the shows that Bayside does. I don't know. It's a good question, and maybe the show itself, the singer-songwriter style, the storytelling thing, maybe that puts me in a headspace where like I feel a little more connected with this audience. That like, you know what I mean? Like we know each other now. Like I'm going to come out after the set and I'll come and say hello, and like because we just bonded for an hour and a half. It wasn't me with the crazy fucking light show and the bits and the you know what I mean? Like maybe it has something to do with that.
When you're on your own doing that for that long, like, is that therapeutic? You have the whole day to just be by yourself with your thoughts, or you have friends in different towns?
Oh yeah.
What's going on?
No, I'll be by myself. By myself. I'm never alone. I go on tour and it's me and the band and 6 or 7 crew guys, so I'm living in a box with 10, 11 dudes at all times. And then I come home and the kids are always here, and my wife. I'm never alone. So it's my time. I listen to podcasts and I go back to the hotel and read. When the hell do I ever get to do that?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I feel you. I really do, man. Well, Anthony, it has been marvelous talking to you today. Thank you so much for sharing so much.
Yeah, thank you. It was really good to get to know you guys a little bit. I feel like we've been adjacent for decades.
I think there was like
finally get to talk a little bit.
There's like a 5-year period where every night y'all were there before us or the night after us.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. So agreed. And hopefully we run into you. And if the solo thing's coming anywhere close, let us know. And
yeah, you guys are in Dallas, right?
We are. Yeah. Busy year for us, but yeah. And dude, we'll and please let us know, when the album stuff starts happening, and we'll share it from the show and all that. And
yeah, that's great, man. Thank you. And we'll connect on Instagram. We should all be friends. We should be friends.
Let's do it.
It's crazy that we're not.
It absolutely agreed. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Thanks,
no, I love you. I love you guys. Also, seen the band a whole bunch of times. I think that you guys are fucking top flight songwriters, A-level songwriters. Fucking big fan of what you guys do.
Thank you. Well, vice versa. And dude, and please come back on the show. We'll talk more dad stuff. And for everybody else out there, thank you guys so very much for listening to the Rockstar Dad Show. We'll be back next week with more of the same thing. I'll be good.
This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys next episode.